right, so that looks way better. Still not perfectly straight, but best I could do by myself. Engine's just sitting there on stand. I got the crane out of the way, did some cleanup. So here we are. This is going to be a video where we're going to tear this sucker apart and find out exactly what piece in here is why the thing seized up on me. I mean, aside from being drowned in salt water, but you know, that's the cause. But what's the actual piece that's causing the problem? We looked under the valve covers already in a previous video. You can go back and find that. That's just in the F100 series on our channel. Yeah, we're gonna see what's inside of here. Is it the cylinder walls? Is it the the crank bearings? Is it something else? I don't know. The other thing is we'll find out what's going on with everything. One piece of note is yeah, they just kind of made their own bracket for the exhaust manifold there because it cracked and broke. So anyway, who knows? This was supposed to be a freshly rebuilt motor, but the top end looked that way when I took the valve covers off. So we'll see. Let the teardown commence. All right, so went ahead and took the plate off the top there. Got rid of the PCV hose that was there. I had one fuel hose on here that I took that off and put that all aside just to try to get the top of this thing cleaned up. The other thing I did, trying to figure out how to hold my phone here without doing anything, but I took this distributor ground wire that goes right there to the coil. I took that off. That goes right there. And then I took the bolt out right here for the this piece that holds down the distributor. So I think I'll go ahead and get the distributor out next. Should just lift out of there at this point. So let me see if I can do that. All right, so there's the distributor. That just lifted right out, like I said. Looking at it though, I don't really see anything too rusty in here. It looks fairly okay. Yeah, there's your bolt and that clip that holds it in. Coming over here, as you can see, there's some junk and crap on top of this motor that if I was not going to take it all the way apart, I would be a little bit more persnickety about cleaning that stuff out, because as you can see, something fell down in there. So anyway, it was like right over there and it fell in. But it's not a big deal because I'm taking this thing completely apart anyway. So, but if you're not and you're taking your distributor out, make sure you clean everything before you do that. Okay, coil. I think that's where I'm going to go next, and then probably water pump after that, just to get that big old sucker off the front. All right, here's the water pump. If you watch some of our previous videos, like a couple of our first videos, you'll see this is new. See on the back there, it's nice and shiny, new hose, all that kind of stuff. So it looks rusty. We'll probably just clean this thing up and repaint it. Probably blue like the rest of the motor, but yeah, it's perfectly tight. Like not tight like it doesn't want to spin, but tight like it's good to go. It's not rusty inside at all, because that's where the coolant was, not the salt water. So that's fine. There's my bolts. So that's off, and pretty easy. You can see the coil, I got that off. That's just that screw right there. Loosen it up enough, the coil slides out, and you're all set. Yeah, let me not forget that. That's my other water pump bolt that I set up there. So that's off. Let's see what else we can get going here. Maybe the thermostat right there on the front. I don't know, let's see. Come back and see what's off next. Alrighty, so I decided what I want to do next is I want to get the intake manifold off so I can look down in there. But what I got to do first is get the valve covers off. So I went ahead and pulled all of these bolts here. These are all already loosened out. So these are 9/16 bolts. So we're going to pull those. All right, and remember the short ones are in the back there. See, those are short, the rest of them are long. Yep. So there you go. That's the other reason you film yourself, because then you can tell yourself, remember this. remember that. And I'll help you remember stuff, right? Or anyway, so those 2 short ones in the back. But anyway, we got all those out. I'm gonna put those in a baggie. And then, if you note, I can't get the intake off until I take the valve covers off, but they're already loose too. So we'll pop those off too here in a second. So for now, I'm gonna put this greasy batch of bolts that I got in my hand in a baggie. Okay, we got all the bolts off for the valve cover, valve covers. Those are in there. So let's go ahead and pop these back off. If you didn't see on a previous video, we got some rust going on top of these rockers. So you can go back and see that if you want to, but otherwise here you're seeing it now, so you don't have to go back. But that's not enough to seat up the motor, I don't think. I don't know, unless it's inside there on the, you know, causing it to seize up inside of there. I don't know. But anyway, so that's one valve cover off. I'm gonna go ahead and take the other one off too, sit them over on the shelf. And then we're gonna get to work on that intake. See if we can get that thing. All right, so even though we got the valve covers off and everything, we gotta move to the next step of being able to get this off. Those of you that do this all the time knew this was coming. For those of you that don't, as you can see, we got push rods right here. The push rods push on the rockers, which push on the springs. The issue is you can't get the intake manifold off as I step over here and block some of the light, but you can't get that off because those push rods go down in through those holes. Not so much those, but definitely some of these. So we got to get this, I don't know the proper term for it, but this rocker arm bar off of here. So we got these 4 bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and start backing those off a little bit at a time. There's probably a sequence, but then again, this is an old Ford motor, so it's probably not that complicated. Who knows, maybe I'm screwing it up. But I'm gonna go ahead and back those off and see if I can get that off. Then we can pull those push rods and keep those straight. Anyway, we'll pull all that stuff and see if we can get that out. Okay, so like I said, the way I did this was I just kind of loosened, kind of broke that one loose and worked my way down, breaking it loose. Then I came back and I undid a few turns and then worked my way back, doing a few turns, and it just kind of slowly raised up. It didn't get too crooked or anything, but now all these are loose. You know, I can pull these out, but I'm not going to do that and let it fall on the floor. So I'm going to put the phone down, hold on to this sucker, pull those 4 bolts out, and then we'll get that thing off. Okay. Now that I did it, I could have done that while I was still filming because it only took one hand. Basically, I just grabbed it and picked it up. But now you can see we can get to these push rods that just sit in there. All right, so those just pop right out. I'll go along and collect those and get them out of the way. But there you go. That was pretty simple, not very hard at all. And then here's the actual. I gotta look up what the name of this dang thing is. I can't think of it. But anyway, there's all your rocker arms off of the driver's side. So I mean, as far as I can tell, we can reuse these things. I'll just, I don't know, probably wire brush them up there. I'm sure there's some engine builders cringing, but I don't know at this point. We'll see. Let's see what the rest of this motor looks like before we make too many decisions. All right, so here's pretty much the top of the motor. So I went ahead and pulled those little oil drain trays off of the top of the motor. Got both of these, the rocker assemblies out. That's what I'm gonna call them right now, rocker assemblies. There's the intake manifold. Why didn't somebody tell me that thing weighs a solid 50 pounds and it doesn't have a good handle? Holy crap. So yeah, if you haven't been to the gym lately, watch out for that son of a gun. That thing has got some mass on it and it'll slip, and I was concerned about my fingers sometimes there. Anyway, there you go. Got the top of the motor off. like, I don't know for sure what's going on there, because that just goes to nothing on the intake manifold. So I really don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to be something, and it's not. Anyway, we're learning as we go. But there you go. That's it for that. So let me get this. I think this tray just comes out. Yeah, it does. But I might need two hands. It's twisty. Or, I don't know. It's hung up on something. There we go. All right, got that out. Now, what do we got going here? Again, some goop in a few places, some rust in a couple places. That looks like salt water because I couldn't run the motor, and I am seeing a little bit more rust on the lifters that I couldn't see from up top very well. So maybe that's, I don't know. That still doesn't look like what's causing it not to run. So yeah, I want to get a head off tonight. And once I do that, I'm going to stop and go eat dinner and be done for the night. But I just got to see what's inside. I don't know, what are you guys interested in seeing what's in here? I am. So we're going to pull that head off right there and see what's in there and call it a night. So let me start working on taking, you know, obviously there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So they're all there. So we're going to work on taking those apart, or those off, loosen them, and let's see if we can get this head off without dropping it on the floor. Definitely not on my toe. And see what kind of surprise we got inside of there. All right. I bet you thought you were going to see the head off, but you didn't. So what I realized was I wanted to try to get these exhaust manifold bolts loose while this thing's all still together, instead of trying to wrestle that head at a later date. So anyway, I went ahead and did that. So all of those, believe it or not, came loose. So far, no major issues. Had to use a breaker bar on a couple of them to get them loose, but didn't have to put a ton of pressure on them. So anyway, that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and get that off, and then I'll show you that. Okay, I was gonna come back after I had this off, but I just had to stop and show you this. I thought, if you remember seeing how janky this was, that was just sitting there like that, holding it, you know, in there, sitting in here like this. The way it was. I thought it was welded on. It's not. Literally, they just like pinched it on there. Good God Almighty. The stuff people do. So I've been finding random stuff like that on this truck. I guess that's what happens with these old trucks. People just do what they got to do to make them run. So anyway, I just had to show you that. All right, there we go. That came off. No issues at all. Came right off. That's good too that I got that off, so it's not hanging on the head. I just took it over here to the rest of the parts, and there it is. So I really don't want to put those back on. I want to get some headers when I rebuild this thing, but we'll tackle that once we get to that point of this project. Now, all of those head bolts are loose, so I'm going to go ahead and start working on taking those off. I do have to take that little oil bracket thing off. That's easy enough, but all right, next time that will be off. All right, we're gonna start here. So like I said, we got the head off. That is just where some water was coming out of some of the cooling jackets. But there you go. Nothing looks bad there. I mean, yeah, these are a little bit discolored, I'd say, but nothing looks bad. It's not super rusty. I mean, I don't know, guys. You tell me. I don't know. I mean, it does not look bad to me at all. Nothing there says, oh my God, that motor is seized. So we'll come over here. I do want to, hold on, teaser. Here's the deal is I have taken all of this motor apart with a 1/2 inch socket, I think 9/16. Yeah, that's my half. There was one random 10 mil. That was what, I don't know who put a 10 mil on here, but it was on holding the dipstick bracket. So there's always a 10 mil. Jeez Louise. Other than that, everything has been a 9/16, a 1/2, and then the head bolts were 3/4. So literally that's my tools, pretty much right there. Breaker bar, 1/2 inch, 3/8 ratchet, couple wrenches. Yeah, here's the 9/16. I think it is, yeah. So that's all the tools it takes. Now to the motor. Here you go. So again, a little bit of goop because I had poured oil, some WD-40, some Marvel Mystery Oil. I poured a bunch of stuff down in here and then turned it over to make sure it was kind of lubed up. This particular cylinder still has, that is Marvel Mystery Oil and other stuff in there. So yeah, I don't know. Again, nothing there says, oh my God. Now that's the worst of it right there, but I don't know. That's, I mean, it's not good, but again, most of it just comes out. So obviously gonna have to get the motor, rebuilt because of that, but I don't know, maybe the other side looks worse, but again, these look fine-ish. I mean, there's a little bit of something down there. This one looks perfectly fine. And then that one. Again, it's like, it's weird, just like with the rockers. The rockers where the front was rusty and the back wasn't. This looks like the back is rusty and the front's not. So, I don't know. So I was thinking if I opened that up and just saw a disastrous rust bucket everywhere, that would explain why it was so seized up, but it's, I guess that could be it right there. I mean, that and the other rear cylinder could be it. I don't know, because if that's at bottom of the stroke, then even if I tried to move the motor backwards, it would be seized up. So I'm gonna stop the video here this time. If you want to see the other side, you're gonna have to come back, and then if you want to see what's going on the bottom. But I got to stop for the night. Worked all day, came here, and did this. So yeah, that's that. If you want to see what's going on and keep track of this project and how we try to put all this truck back together, please subscribe and keep coming back. There's multiple videos on this truck, starting out with when we pulled it out of a barn. So if you want to look at the whole series, that's on our page too. But yeah, this is like I said, that back cylinder does look bad. So I guess that's it. I don't know. So we're gonna have to get it to the machine shop and get them to take a look at it, hone it and do whatever they need to do to get that back to serviceable. But let's see what else is in here. Come back next time for the next episode and we'll tear this apart some more.